Let me tell you something. Your life isn't waiting. It's happening right now. And if you're feeling lost, if you're wondering why nothing seems to stick, why you wake up exhausted and defeated, it's not because the world is against you. It's because trauma has a way of keeping us small. It hides in plain sight. It's silent, but it dictates your every choice, every hesitation, every moment you convince yourself, I'll start tomorrow. Most of us don't even realize it. We walk through life carrying invisible weight. We carry the echoes of words spoken to us when we were children, the punches of disappointment, the shame we weren't taught how to shake off. Trauma isn't just the big, dramatic moments. It's the small betrayals, the quiet neglect, the you're not enough that was whispered so often we started believing it. And the truth is, until we face it, until we call it by name, it shapes every decision we make, every relationship we try to form, every career move we hesitate to take. You feel lost because your nervous system hasn't learned safety yet. You feel lost because your brain has memorized fear as a default setting. And it's exhausting. You want clarity, you want direction, but you keep replaying patterns that keep you stuck. You keep choosing comfort over courage. And here's the brutal truth. No one can do the deep work for you. Nobody can step into your skin and shake loose what's holding you back. Not a mentor, not a course, not a motivational quote. This isn't to shame you. It's to empower you. Because once you understand the root cause, you reclaim control. You can see why the same mistakes keep showing up. You can finally begin to take ownership instead of blaming circumstance. And that's the first step toward freedom. Freedom isn't waiting for permission. Freedom doesn't come in a perfect moment. It comes in action, in the daily decisions to confront fear, to stare at the parts of yourself that hurt and to say, I'm done letting this run me. So if you're ready to stop wandering through life like a ghost in your own story, it starts here. Not with a plan, not with the perfect conditions, but with a truth so powerful it shakes you awake. What has happened to you does not define you until you let it. And that's the bridge to the next step, understanding the invisible patterns trauma leaves behind and why your mind keeps you lost, even when you want to move forward. Here's the truth. Most people never say out loud, trauma doesn't just live in your past. It lives in your present. It sits in your brain like a silent puppeteer, pulling the strings of your habits, your thoughts, your relationships. And the worst part? You don't even notice it. You think you're just stuck or unmotivated. But what's really happening is that your nervous system is wired to keep you safe. And safe in your mind often means small, quiet, and invisible. Think about it. Why do you overthink every decision? Why do you procrastinate even when you know the stakes are high? Why does your confidence vanish the moment someone challenges you? It's because your brain remembers the fear. It remembers the moments you were criticized, abandoned, ignored, or dismissed. And it's doing what it's designed to do, protect you. The problem is it's protecting you from the same old pain, even if that pain doesn't exist anymore. Trauma doesn't care that you're an adult now with new opportunities. It doesn't care about your goals. It just wants to keep you safe. And safety, here's the kicker, often looks like stagnation. Staying in jobs you hate, relationships that drain you, routines that numb you. Because stepping into growth feels like danger to a traumatized mind. Every time you hesitate, doubt yourself, or self-sabotage, it's not laziness. It's your brain running the same patterns it learned decades ago. Patterns that feel familiar, even if they're hurting you. Patterns that scream, don't risk it. Stay here. It's safer. The scary part? These patterns bleed into every corner of your life. How you spend money, how you speak to loved ones, how you make career choices. They create cycles of missed opportunities and quiet despair. And most people try to fix this with external solutions, new habits, coaches, affirmations. But the root cause? It's invisible. Until you name it, you can't tame it. Here's the breakthrough. Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward freedom. Awareness is more than seeing the problem. It's saying, this isn't my fault, but it's my responsibility. Once you see the invisible chains, you start pulling them one by one. You start realizing that your hesitation isn't weakness. It's a signal, a map pointing directly to the places where you need courage, consistency, and ownership. So if you feel stuck, if your life keeps repeating the same chapters, it's not that you're broken. You've just been unconsciously following a script trauma wrote for you. And the next section is where the story changes, where you learn why fear and procrastination are the handmaidens of trauma and how to fight them head on. Let's get real for a second. Fear isn't just an emotion. It's a system. It's a command center in your brain designed to keep you from danger. But here's the brutal truth. Most of the danger it protects you from doesn't even exist. Your fear is lying to you. And when you combine that with procrastination, you get a perfect storm, a life on pause, a mind trapped in loops, a heart convinced it's not enough. Procrastination isn't laziness. It's fear in disguise. It's the quiet, sneaky voice that whispers, not now, maybe later, I'll start tomorrow, and tomorrow never comes. Trauma feeds this. It teaches your brain that taking risks is unsafe, that trying and failing is painful, that showing up fully is dangerous. And so you delay, you stall, you stay in the background while life passes by. And the cost? Oh, the cost is real. Your relationships suffer because you're afraid to be honest. Your career suffers because you're afraid to fail. Your health suffers because you put off the discipline it takes to take care of yourself. Your potential? That dies slowly, quietly, and almost without notice. You feel lost, not because you lack talent, but because your brain has been trained to avoid discomfort at all costs. Comfort becomes the prison, and fear becomes the warden. Here's the good news. You can fight back, and it doesn't require waiting for motivation or a miracle. Action is your weapon. Discipline is your armor. The moment you do something, anything, in spite of fear, you break the chain. You send a signal to your brain, I am bigger than this, I am in control. It's not about eliminating fear, that's impossible. It's about acknowledging it and choosing courage anyway. This is where most people get stuck. They wait for confidence to show up. Confidence never shows up first. Action comes first. Momentum comes first. And every time you move through fear, even in small steps, you rewire the patterns trauma set in motion years ago. You teach your nervous system that growth is safe, that trying is safe, that failing isn't the end. It's a lesson. So if you're feeling frozen, know this, your fear is real, but it's also trained. It can be retrained. And the next step in this journey is where we confront the daily habits and consistency that turn courage into real transformation. Because without them, all the awareness in the world won't get you unstuck. Here's the part most people miss. Knowledge alone won't change your life. Understanding trauma, fear, or procrastination is not enough. You can have every book, every video, every motivational quote memorized and still feel stuck. Why? Because transformation lives in the doing. Transformation lives in the small daily actions that most people underestimate. Discipline, consistency, and the courage to show up when no one's watching, that's where change is forged. Think about it. The life you want isn't built in one epic moment. It's built in thousands of tiny choices. The choice to wake up and make your bed. The choice to take a step even when it terrifies you. The choice to speak your truth even if your voice shakes. These are small wins, but they compound, they accumulate, they whisper a message to your brain that you are capable, that you are not a victim of your past, that you can rewrite your story. Here's a reality check. If you were waiting for the right time to start, you're already losing. The right time never comes. Motivation is fleeting. Inspiration is temporary. Discipline is reliable. Discipline doesn't care if you feel like it. Discipline doesn't care if the odds seem stacked against you. It's a choice every single day to do what needs to be done, even when it's uncomfortable. And here's the kicker. Small wins don't just build momentum in your mind. They ripple outward. Your confidence grows. Your relationships improve because you show up differently. Your career evolves because you consistently deliver, even when it's hard. Your finances shift because habits compound faster than luck. Discipline becomes the engine that turns fear into action, that turns trauma into resilience, that turns feeling lost into clarity and purpose. But you have to start. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Pick one small win today. Something simple, achievable, but meaningful, and then another tomorrow, and then another. The consistency is where transformation hides. Every choice, every action, every moment you refuse to let fear dictate your steps is a declaration: I will not be controlled by what happened to me. I will choose who I become. So if you want to break the cycle, it starts here, in the daily grind, the small victories, the quiet, unwavering commitment to yourself. And the next step is where we dive into accountability and why owning your choices is the secret weapon for unstoppable growth. Here's a hard truth that most people avoid. Your life is your responsibility. No one else is coming to fix it. No one else owes you clarity, success, or happiness. And if you keep blaming your past, your circumstances, or other people, you will stay exactly where you are, stuck, frustrated, and lost. Accountability is brutal, but it's also liberating. Because when you take ownership, you stop being a passenger in your own story and start driving toward the life you want. Think about it. How often do you catch yourself saying, if only I can't because, or they made me? Every time you do that, you hand your power over to someone else. Trauma, fear, and habit love excuses. They thrive in the space where you abdicate responsibility. But the moment you say, this is on me, I own it, something shifts. You feel lighter, clearer, more powerful. Suddenly you're not a victim anymore. You're a warrior. Accountability isn't about shame. It's about truth. It's about looking in the mirror and seeing the patterns, the choices, the fears, the procrastination, and saying, yes, this is mine, and I will change it. And it's not theoretical, it's concrete. Did you spend your morning scrolling instead of working on your goal? That's yours. Did you react angrily instead of responding with calm? That's yours. Did you avoid a conversation that could change your life? That's yours. Every action, every inaction is yours. Own it. And here's the game changer. Accountability gives you power over the invisible forces that trauma uses to control you. It turns fear into a compass instead of a cage. It turns hesitation into strategy. It turns I can't into what's my next step? Because when you accept that you are responsible for your choices, no matter how messy, imperfect, or painful, you reclaim the driver's seat. You stop wandering in circles. You start steering. But here's the catch. Accountability isn't a one-time decision. It's daily, it's brutal, it's uncomfortable, and it works. It rewires your brain, rewires your habits, rewires your life, because once you see clearly what's yours to fix, you stop waiting for life to happen to you and start making life happen for you. So if you're ready to stop giving away your power, start owning every choice, and step into radical responsibility, you're ready for the next step. The courage to make uncomfortable choices, the ones that truly break the patterns trauma created. Let me be brutally honest. Courage isn't some grand heroic act. It's messy. It's awkward. It's uncomfortable. And most people think courage is something they feel, but it's not. Courage is a choice. It's the decision to do what terrifies you anyway, to take the next step even when your body is screaming to run, to face the parts of yourself trauma has buried. And here's the kicker. Freedom lives on the other side of that discomfort. Think about your life right now. How many opportunities have you avoided because it felt too risky? How many conversations have you put off because it might get messy? How many dreams are still waiting because stepping forward feels unsafe? Trauma loves the familiar. It thrives in the ordinary. And courage shakes it to the core. It says, I will not be controlled by fear. I will not shrink to fit your limits. Courage is not a feeling. It's a muscle. And like any muscle, it gets stronger the more you use it. The first time you speak your truth, it's painful. The first time you set a boundary, it's uncomfortable. The first time you start a project that scares you, your body wants to quit. But each time you move through that discomfort, your confidence grows, your fear shrinks, your life expands, and you begin to see something incredible. Trauma only has the power you give it. Here's the practical truth. Courage compounds like interest in a bank account. One choice leads to another. One risk leads to another. One moment of showing up fully becomes the foundation for a life you once thought was impossible. And yes, it's scary. And yes, it's uncertain. But if you wait until it feels safe, you'll never move. Safety is an illusion. Growth lives in the stretch, in the unknown, in the spaces where your brain says stop and your heart says go anyway. So if you want to stop feeling lost, start choosing courage over comfort. Start leaning into the moments that scare you. Start building a life where fear is no longer the driver, but the indicator that you are moving in the right direction. And the next step in this journey is where we connect courage to hope and perseverance. how to keep going when it feels like everything is against you. Let's get real. Hope is not a wish. Hope is a decision. And perseverance is not stubbornness. It's discipline and action. Life will hit you. Trauma, fear, and doubt will keep showing up, often in ways you didn't expect. Opportunities will fall through. People will disappoint you. And if you don't learn to hold on, truly hold on, you will fall into the same cycle of despair that keeps so many people trapped in their own minds. Here's the truth. Most people ignore adversity is not a stop sign. It's a test. Every setback, every failure, every heartbreak is training ground. And perseverance isn't about ignoring the pain. It's about acknowledging it, feeling it, and then choosing to keep moving forward anyway. You build hope by acting despite the obstacles. You reinforce it by proving to yourself over and over again that you can survive, you can adapt, and you can rise. Think about your brain for a moment. Trauma teaches it to expect danger, disappointment, and rejection. It keeps you in protective loops, but perseverance rewires it. Daily action, even small steps, sends a message: I am stronger than my past. I am bigger than my fear. Every time you don't quit, every time you show up when it's hard, hope compounds. Hope becomes not just a feeling, but a strategy, a muscle, a force you can rely on when everything around you feels uncertain. And let's be honest, most people quit because hope feels fragile. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect sign, the perfect conditions. But here's the real deal. Life will never be perfect. Circumstances will never line up exactly the way you want. You have to create hope within yourself. You have to choose perseverance as a daily habit, not just a reaction when times are tough, because hope without action is empty. And action without hope is exhausting. Together, they are unstoppable. So if you've been feeling lost, remember this. Your journey is not about avoiding hardship. It's about leaning into it with courage, building hope with every step, and proving to yourself that you are capable of more than you've ever imagined. Trauma may have shaped your past, but it cannot dictate your future. And the next step in this journey is connecting this internal growth to the real world impact, how your mindset shapes your relationships, your career, and even your financial life. Here's something most people don't realize. Your life is a reflection of your mind, not your circumstances, not the people around you, not luck. Your mindset determines how you show up, the decisions you make, and the results you create. Trauma and fear can warp that mindset, convincing you that the world is against you, that opportunities are scarce, that you're destined to stay lost. And if you let those thoughts run unchecked, they will dictate your life. Think about it. When you constantly tell yourself, I can't, I'm not enough, or it's too hard, your brain starts believing it. It begins scanning for evidence to prove your fear right. You begin making choices or avoiding them based on a false story your mind is telling you. And then you wonder why your relationships struggle, your career stalls, or your finances never improve. It's not coincidence. It's mindset in action. The power of awareness is incredible. When you recognize these patterns, the mental loops that keep you small, you gain the ability to change them. You start questioning your automatic thoughts. You begin asking, is this true or is this trauma talking? You begin to replace fear-driven assumptions with truth, with action, with possibility. And here's the magic. Your outer world starts shifting the moment your inner world does. Your confidence grows. Your opportunities multiply. Your relationships improve because you no longer operate from scarcity, shame, or fear. But let's be clear. Mindset isn't positive thinking fluff. It's not a magic pill. It's hard work. It's self-discipline. It's confronting the discomfort of your own thoughts and consciously choosing a different path. It's rewiring your brain to see obstacles as opportunities, setbacks as lessons, and fear as a signal to act, not retreat. When you do this consistently, you start to take control over more than just your emotions. You take control over your career, your finances, your health, and your life trajectory. So if you feel lost, know this. Changing your mindset is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It's how trauma stops ruling your life and how hope, courage, and action begin to create real, tangible results. And the next step in this journey is how this internal shift translates into your relationships, because the people around you will feel the ripple effect of your transformation. Let me tell you something most people overlook. Your relationships are a mirror. The way you show up with others reflects exactly how you show up with yourself. Trauma doesn't just stay in your mind, it shows up in your interactions. Fear, self-doubt, avoidance, and unresolved pain leak into every conversation, every argument, every connection. And if you don't do the inner work, the patterns repeat. You attract the same types of people, the same types of problems, and the same emotional chaos. Think about it. How often do you stay silent when something bothers you because you're afraid of conflict? How often do you overcompensate, people please, or ignore your own needs to keep the peace? That's trauma. That's fear masquerading as survival. And it keeps you disconnected, frustrated, and exhausted. Relationships are the ultimate test of your growth. They reveal whether you're still operating from old scripts or if you're stepping into accountability, courage, and truth. Here's the truth. Emotional growth transforms connection. When you start to confront fear and trauma in your own life, when you choose courage over comfort, your relationships shift. You speak clearly. You set boundaries. You don't overreact. You don't shrink. And people respond to that authenticity. Your presence changes. The energy you carry is different. And here's the beautiful part. This doesn't just improve romantic relationships. It changes friendships, family dynamics, and professional connections. Trust, respect, and collaboration naturally follow when you are whole, accountable, and self-aware. But here's the real kicker. Emotional growth isn't just about others. It's about teaching yourself what you deserve. It's about refusing to tolerate disrespect, manipulation, or neglect. It's about showing up fully in your life without apology. Trauma will try to keep you small. It will whisper that you're unworthy or that your needs don't matter. And if you ignore that, your relationships will continue to reflect fear and scarcity. But when you act, when you step into truth, when you choose courage and accountability, you create connection, not chaos. So if you want relationships that energize, support, and elevate you, start with yourself. Heal the patterns trauma left behind. Step into discipline, courage, and consistency. And the next step is even bigger. How this internal growth impacts your financial life, your opportunities, and your ability to create the life you've always wanted. Let's cut through the noise. Your financial life, your opportunities, and your abundance are not random. They are a direct reflection of how you think, how you act, and how you respond to fear. Trauma and self-doubt can silently sabotage your ability to pursue growth, take risks, or claim the opportunities in front of you. And most people don't even realize it. They feel stuck in a job, a career, or a financial cycle and think, this is just my lot in life. But it's not. It's your mindset in action or inaction, showing up in dollars, opportunities, and results. Think about it. Every time you shrink from a challenge, every time you avoid responsibility, every time you procrastinate on pursuing what you truly want, you're telling the universe and yourself that you're not ready, that you're not capable. And guess what? You're right. Until you act differently. Your fear is not just a personal struggle. It's a wealth killer. It keeps you from negotiating for better pay, investing in yourself, starting that side hustle, or stepping into leadership. Every hesitation has a tangible cost. Here's the empowering truth. The same principles that help you overcome trauma, fear, and self-doubt also create abundance. Daily discipline, accountability, courage, and consistent action aren't just emotional tools. They are wealth tools. Showing up, doing the hard work, taking calculated risks, speaking up for your value, and refusing to settle. That's how opportunities multiply. That's how financial independence grows. That's how the life you dream of becomes the life you live. But it starts with ownership. You must claim responsibility for your financial outcomes the same way you claim responsibility for your emotional growth. Stop blaming the economy, your boss, or your circumstances. Start asking, what action can I take today, no matter how small, to move toward abundance? Discipline in your daily choices compounds. Courage in decision-making attracts opportunity. Resilience turns setbacks into lessons, not failures, and the result, a life where your resources, your time, and your energy are in alignment with your goals and your potential. So if you've been waiting for a miracle, stop. Wealth, opportunity, and abundance are available to you, but only if you act consistently, with clarity and courage. And the next step is tying it all together, how to integrate mindset, action, courage, and discipline into a life that is not just surviving, but thriving. Here's the reality. All the knowledge, insight, and self-awareness in the world is useless if it doesn't translate into action. Understanding trauma, mastering discipline, cultivating courage, and shifting mindset, none of it counts unless it becomes part of your daily life. Integration is the bridge between knowing and becoming. It's where transformation stops being theory and starts being real. Think about it. You've learned that fear is a signal, procrastination is sabotage, discipline builds momentum, and accountability is power. You've seen how courage compounds, how hope sustains, and how mindset shapes your relationships and opportunities. But if these principles remain isolated ideas, they won't change your life. They need to collide in your actions. They need to coexist in the choices you make every morning, every decision, every interaction. That's integration. That's mastery of your own life. Integration means showing up fully, even when it's uncomfortable. It means aligning your thoughts with your behaviors, your values with your actions, your courage with your goals. It's choosing to act in the face of fear, to speak the truth even when it's hard, to pursue opportunities even when failure is possible. It's the quiet daily practice of living intentionally. Every small win, every courageous step, every disciplined act compounds into a life that no trauma, no fear, and no self-doubt can control. And here's the truth most people miss. Integration isn't about perfection. It's about consistency. It's about learning to pivot when you stumble, to keep going when life knocks you down, and to treat setbacks as feedback, not failure. The life you want isn't created in a single perfect moment. It's created in the messy, beautiful process of showing up every day in alignment with your highest vision, regardless of how you feel. When you integrate all of this, you stop feeling lost. You stop waiting for permission. You stop letting fear dictate your story. Your mind, your actions, your relationships, and your resources all start moving in sync. You start living from a place of ownership, courage, and clarity. Trauma may have written the first chapters of your story, but integration allows you to write the next ones with intention, power, and resilience. And the final piece of this journey is perhaps the most important: how to sustain this transformation long-term so you never feel lost again, no matter what life throws at you. Let me be clear. Transformation isn't a one-time event. It's not a speech you listen to, a book you read, or a moment of inspiration. Real change is sustained. It's habitual. It's intentional. And if you want to never feel lost again, you have to build systems, habits, and practices that keep you moving forward, even when fear, doubt, or life's chaos try to pull you backward. Here's the truth. Most people ignore your nervous system, your habits, and your mindset will always try to return to what's familiar. Trauma, fear, and old patterns are comfortable, even when they hurt you. The only way to resist them is consistency. Daily rituals of discipline, courage, reflection, and accountability create inertia. They train your brain to expect action, to reward courage, and to trust yourself. Every day you show up fully, you build a life that protects you from getting lost again. Think about it. Every habit, every choice, every moment you take ownership compounds. Journaling your thoughts, planning your day, practicing self-discipline, choosing courage, and reinforcing hope aren't small acts. They're the scaffolding of a life that cannot be derailed by fear or uncertainty. And the magic is that these practices ripple outward. Your relationships improve, your career accelerates, your finances grow, and your confidence becomes unshakable. You become someone who doesn't just survive life, but leads it. But sustaining transformation isn't just about action. It's about vigilance. It's about noticing when fear, procrastination, or old patterns creep back in and confronting them immediately. It's about creating accountability for yourself, surrounding yourself with people who challenge you, and consistently asking, am I moving toward my best life, or am I slipping into old habits? It's uncomfortable, but comfort is the enemy of growth. The moment you settle into ease without awareness, you risk losing the progress you've worked so hard to earn. So here's the bottom line. If you want to never feel lost again, commit to the long game. Show up every day, act when it's hard, speak your truth, own your choices, step into courage, build discipline, nurture hope, and repeat forever. Because the life you deserve, one of clarity, power, and unstoppable momentum, isn't a gift. It's a practice. It's a decision, and it's yours every single day. Now, when you step off this moment and back into your life, remember this: you are no longer defined by trauma. You are defined by your courage, your choices, and your commitment to show up fully. And that is freedom.